You want to grow your savings, but you're thinking to yourself, these banks only giving 2%. That is nothing. So, as Facebook does, it hears your thoughts and it sends you an ad for an investment opportunity. You see the ad, click it, send a direct message, then you are invited to join a Telegram channel. You join the channel and it's success story after success story. You are pumped. You're thinking, boy, I'm gonna get more than 2%. So you send your $10,000 as directed and you're looking forward to your gains. But then 3 months passes, no gains, no follow-up, and no more Telegram channel. What happened to your money? Let's talk about it. Welcome to this episode of the Socially Safe Podcast, the TTPS podcast where we tell real stories, share real lessons, and create real impact. I am your host, Jamila Bannister, and again for you we have an exciting topic in this episode, but before we dive in, let me introduce my special guest and co-host as usual. To my right, Corporal Liz-Ann Lazarus of the Fraud Squad, and back with us again, Corporal George of the Cyber and Social Media Unit. Welcome, lady and gent.
Thank you.
Good to have you back on set for this episode.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get into it. So I want to talk today about scams, investments, phishing, smishing, anything that takes your money from you online and then gives you nothing in return, right? So we've been seeing a proliferation of these types of scams popping up in Trinidad and Tobago, where there's these group scams, bring somebody, let's give your money, bring 10 people, etc., right? So, I always ask you guys to give us these stories, give us the real stories so we could really understand what is happening with these things in Trinidad and Tobago. So, Liz-Ann, once again, remind people what you do at Fraud and tell us a little bit about some of the things you see with regard to these types of phishing and investment scams.
I am an investigator at the Fraud Squad, as well as I am one of the persons in charge of the registry where all the reports are lodged, kept, basically the engine room of the Fraud Squad. Phishing and smishing, so there's a difference between the two. Phishing deals with fake email addresses as well as websites where persons are given a link, and when they click on it, they would be lured into those websites. And smishing, on the other hand, is similar, but via the use of SMS. Text messages. Yeah. Okay. Right? So we can say that smishing is the mobile cousin for phishing.
Right. Yes. And would that include WhatsApp too? Would smishing include WhatsApp or strictly text messaging?
SMS.
Yeah. Okay,
SMS, yes. Yeah. It's sent via SMS and not WhatsApp.
Okay, yeah. All right. So I know you have a story for me. Tell me, what cases have you seen with regard to smishing or phishing coming across your desk that kind of stood out in your mind as, wow, these people are getting super creative now?
I will start with smishing, because recently we have a lot of cases where persons receive text messages from local banks, messages imitating to be local banks, saying that either suspicious activity or account locked, and you're required to click on this link. Persons have clicked on the link and are required to put in their login credentials. Once they do that, the scammer has immediate access to their account and transfers, if not all, most of their funds out.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a case?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if anybody recall the postal delivery scams that persons would get a SMS text message indicating that they have received, your package has arrived, and to clear the package, you have to click on the link and send, let's say $500. So what these scammers do, they spam out, meaning like they send out numerous text messages. Like say if you send out 100 text messages asking for $500 and you get 10 people to jump in, that's when they see success. So when you click on the link, it goes to a page similar to a postal delivery service, where they enter certain information like your address, your name, etc. PII, what we call it, personal information, and they capture all that. And then after they ask you to redirect to a banking link, where they enter their account information, their credit card information, and then all is lost. $500 is gone. But how could you, knowing that you did not order anything, click on the link?
Yeah.
You know, I know in the past we had things, persons would call the cyber unit and say that they got a text message from the cable service provider saying that your account is in arrears and you need to pay your account before you get disconnected. And persons would, well, the account, let's say, give an arbitrary number, let's say $500, $550, $1,000. Persons would actually send money to this account. You know, and that's what I said, the scammers spam out or send out mass text messages in order to catch somebody. So if they send 1,000 messages, they catch 10, they success. Right?
Yeah.
So you want persons to be mindful of those things. You know, like if you know that you paid your bill, why would your service provider communicate with you via text message? Do your research. You call them,
Right.
and find out if it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that is where the whole term of phishing comes from, because it very much seems as though, or smishing.
Smishing.
It very much seems like that because it's like you throw out a net hoping to catch a few.
Yeah.
A few.
Correct.
Because my question is where they're getting all these numbers
It's curiosity,
from.
you know. Curiosity is like, wait, no, I thought I paid our bill. I have a package here already. I was like, what package did I order? I would send money. So something you have to do some good cyber hygiene. I would have you thinking about it before. Stop, think, and act
Yeah.
before you go ahead and click on that link.
Yeah.
Or URL.
Yeah. And you know, Corporal Lazarus, you mentioned before that sometimes these phishing scams or these smishing scams don't just happen to individuals. Companies actually could be victims of these types of scams.
Yes, correct. As it relates to phishing, we have real situations where companies, a manufacturing company, made a report where they sent over 200,000 US to one of their suppliers as payment for goods. However, upon checking to see if the money was sent, they realized the money wasn't sent. But they say, but I sent the money. However, they did receive an email redirecting the funds to a different account. And upon checking that email address that they are accustomed sending, they realized it had like a comma added. So sometimes we have to look for, before we send emails or respond to emails, we check if it is the correct email we're sending to, because sometimes the scammers may do a redirection and add a L or add a comma or a dot to the email address you are accustomed sending to.
Yes.
And that little thing will trigger off the whole transaction.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes when a company is putting through a lot of bills, you know, they may not stop to check every little dot or every little dash. So perhaps it's a case for companies to put in other systems to verify that these suppliers are who they say they are.
You can include like email scanning to filter out those type of emails.
So there's software for that.
Fraudulent emails. And again, it's the human, right? If you really take your time to understand why would the supplier ask me for another account? This is not the account that he normally does business with. So you have to take a pause, you know, inform your boss what is taking place here, or communicate with the supplier via phone call. You know, let's verify certain things before we part with our money. This is important, you know. And as I said, proper cyber hygiene would want us to take our time, right? And I think we tend to, in business time, we tend to go fast.
We
want to go fast.
So for the folks who are watching, you use this term all the time, Corporal, cyber hygiene. Could you define what that is first?
All right, proper cyber hygiene means basically doing your due diligence.
Right.
We're in a technological era, and a lot of scamming are taking place, and we must be able to differentiate what is real or fake. And proper cyber hygiene meaning that you're taking your time to verify certain things. As I said, communicate with the supplier via phone call. You know something is off. You know, and I know the Americans have it to stop, think, and act.
Right.
And I would say trust, but verify. Right. So those I want to get across to the members of the public. To not really rush into things. You know, take it with a pinch of salt.
So having said that, right, two things come to mind. The first is, what about people who may be introduced to these phishing scams by somebody they know?
Oh.
Right? So somebody they know goes on, or they get this message and they, because I will tell you a quick story. There was one time, one of my aunts, may she rest in peace now, she received, and this is back when these used to come via these letters in the mail, right? Saying that she wants some sort of prize or she wants some sort of something and she needed to send money to get the prize, right? And but she wanted to get this money, but she wouldn't want to tell my mom. What's the reason she needed to borrow this $3,000? And my mom was like, well, where am I going to get that money to give to you? And she didn't want to say what it was. Eventually, after pressing, my mother, she told my mother what it was. My mother was like, this is a scam. This is not real, right? But sometimes there are people who are introduced to these opportunities by their families, and they say, well, okay, well, if you're doing it, I will do it. Or they might meet someone and they said, well, I know somebody who got through with that, right? So how are you dealing with people who are saying things like that or being presented with these opportunities by people that they know? So it's not like a link they're clicking on, or at least not a link they're clicking on directly. Somebody else did the clicking already, and now the person is bringing the opportunity to them. Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, most of the phishing, as it relates to investment scams, we more look at referrals.
Right.
So a friend or a close associate may say, I get through, go and try it out. So when they go on Facebook, they may be introduced to a fake investment website, and it will require them to make an investment where they would have a large return, sometimes 20 times the amount of what they invested over a short period of time, sometimes between 24 to 72 hours, right? And then after the 72 hours, when they realize, I ain't got no money, they might be like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So first to begin with, when you get an investment opportunity like that, you don't get back 20 times your investment within that short space of time.
Yes.
And then you must verify.
A red flag.
He mentioned verification. Go to Securities Exchange, find out if this is a reputable investment company before you send your money. And most of these investment alleged companies, they give you local bank accounts to send the money to. So that is your biggest red flag.
Yeah.
You know?
What about persons like recruiting people like, Jamila, bring on 2 people.
Yeah.
Right, and Jamila will get, and her 2 friends will get on more people. What about those like pyramids or Ponzi schemes, so to speak? You see a lot of that?
We don't see a lot of that since DSS before.
Right. Okay.
But yes, but more now we have where they have the investments via the phishing.
Right.
And we also have jobs online. So the same Facebook, there's a website, fake websites, I think Shein and Amazon, where they're advertising jobs. So persons, we have real situations where a person was required to send money in order to purchase products via Amazon. So this will help boost the sales for Amazon. This is what they were told via when they click on the link and went on that website. So they sent over $200,000 for the purchase of goods.
Is the victim?
The victim. They were told that they will get a commission on those goods as well as their $200,000 reimbursed.
So let me just clarify. They went to our website and then they had to do a manual transaction to a bank?
Yes, because when you go on these fake websites, you are directed to a WhatsApp message.
Okay.
Yes, and they will give you further instructions.
But it's not another red flag.
Correct.
To Amazon and Shein, these major online shopping sites.
So these scammers use these major sites, so it would appear to be real.
Legitimate, right?
Correct. So they will use big names, Shein, Amazon. So when you hear that, it had to be good, you know?
In addition to that, no job is requiring you to put money out first before you start to work.
And that is a red flag.
Right?
Correct.
Because Amazon and Shein, they have their referral programs, which is a real thing.
Correct.
But it has nothing to do with giving money first
Exactly.
to get it back.
Likewise, loans. There are online loan scams as well. Same orders. You go on the Facebook, you go on the website, and you're required to pay a certain amount in order to get money. Where do you go to pay money to get money?
Put up money
and you're
first
putting on
to get
more
money.
than how much you're getting. That's the next thing. You have to put on more then how much required of you? So then why
Yeah.
not just go to a financial
Institution
institution?
and get it.
You see,
Correct.
on previous episodes of the podcast, we spoke about we live our lives online.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
does things. It's online so convenient. And so everything that you see online is like, yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct. And apart from that, we like fast stuff. So if I don't have to go into the bank, I don't have to
Yeah.
get
Line
job
up.
letter, payslip,
Yes,
and go through the
yes.
whole process, and I could just do it this way.
Yeah, shortcuts.
So like we like shortcuts and an
Yes.
easy way out, and then we end up in problems.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, there was something else that I also noticed, that sometimes these scammers, they create almost exact replicas of reputable websites like
Correct.
banking interface for you
Yes.
to log in.
So that's
Yeah.
where we would go back to the smishing
Right.
via SMS text messages. We have active cases where persons received SMS from local banks.
Right.
And these messages will tell them, suspicious activity, account lock. They need to click on the link. They did click on the link, and
they
they will
enter the information.
correct. They enter their information. By the time they log in, it's because half of the money gone,
Right.
or all of their money gone.
Yeah, we have a
You know?
recent case where a person, a local was charged, where persons were actually, through SMS mission, captured the information
Yeah.
and found that there was some activity in, I think it was Macoya,
Right.
Yeah.
on their account, and that person was charged for money laundering.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, local from Lavantil.
Wow.
Yeah.
The people out here are very, very smart, tricky, and they're creating these interfaces to almost capture information once you type it in.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how it works, right?
Yes, yeah.
And we have a real life situation as well. A lady came to make a report. While she's making a report at the fraud squad, money is going from her account. Her phone is pinging off.
Wow.
And she is not conducting those transfers, those transactions.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's frightening.
So it's
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
That's frightening.
Well, you know, this is something that, of course, you know, as usual, we had to take it to the streets, right? So we wanted to ask people and get a sense of, could they recognize a scam? So in this episode's edition of Streetwise, we took it to the streets asking people how they would recognize whether a page is real or fake, and this is what they had to say.
Well, I wouldn't take investment advice from on the Facebook because so many unreal things are happening on there. So actually, I will go to institution to get that advice. And how I know whether things are real or not, I take everything with a pinch of salt on Facebook until I could investigate it.
I don't deal with investment, so I have to know if it is real or what. I don't deal with that. I have my own money set aside.
You ask around. You run a network, you ask your worker, you ask your friends, you ask around, post it up, and try to see if it is real or if it's a scam.
With regards to how you would know if a Facebook page is real or not, it depends on the post, the timeline of the post, and the reactions you're getting from the post, like how much followers they have on their page or not. But AI is a real thing. People can generate so much things with AI, so you doesn't really know. I guess you just have to have the eye to know about it, but I think it's just safe to say don't trust anything, because it could be a scam. 10 out of 10 times it's a scam. So just don't trust anything.
If the page look genuine, I might take a little advice and I might check into it. First of all, I look like the things that they says when you invest in your money, or they build coins, and well, it depends on how I look at it, because a lot of times that when I go on Facebook, some of the things doesn't even seem true, you know? And just being of the age, I have to be so damn careful.
So that was our Streetwise segment. All right, lady and gent, let's talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So-
Good responses, yeah.
So yeah, some good responses. Some people, interesting. One man said he knows nothing about investment. He he sticks with what he knows, right?
And his pension.
And then he has his pension and NIS come in, and he's good with that. But for the ones who are using social media, the ones who are online, I mean, we got a variance of responses, right? One person said almost 10 out of 10 is a scam, right? It's a scam. But I think it's good, again, we don't want to scare people for them to think everything they see is a scam, right? So in terms of verifying, could people reach out to entities like the TTSEC to verify, for example? Like, do we work with them? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, the CSMU and the Trinidad Tobago Security Exchange Commission, TTSEC, we are in some conversations to assist them in their investigations. You could find them, they're online. You could do a Google search and you can find them online, and they have a list of companies which you can do business like and do investments with legitimately in Trinidad and Tobago, regionally and internationally.
Yes.
Yes, correct, yes.
Okay.
So they can verify before they part with their money in terms of investments.
Yeah.
As it relates to the Shein and the Amazon job online, Shein and Amazon is not going to advertise any jobs on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's via their own website.
Correct.
Yeah.
They will
Correct.
advertise.
And one of the respondents talk about, she spoke about AI. So
Yeah.
how do you know this is a fake Facebook account?
Yeah.
Right? And she said that she would check for the followers, the likes, the content, and it's 10 out of 10, it's fake. Right? And there are certain issues with AI. AI could drive up the content and boost your page presence on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? Number one. You check the comments are fake.
Yeah.
But this is all to lure you in to make you feel comfortable to invest. But to really identify a fake account on your phone, go to the profile and there's three dots to the right. You click on it and you go down to the...
This is if you're using mobile device, right?
You go down to where you're going to see the profile link and you're going to see the profile. Sometimes the profile will have a name or it will just have like a number or a Facebook ID number.
Yeah.
Right? That means it's not the Facebook page is probably fraudulent.
Yeah.
On a computer, it's the same, not the same thing, but you go to the page itself and you go to About.
Right.
And you could see the information there about the page.
Yeah. But and what if this, if it's a fake website, it's not necessarily a Facebook page, because we see people putting in their information in completely mimicked versions of the websites. Like, what are some of the markers you have to look for if it's a web page?
Well, for me, I'm a technical guy.
Right.
I use VirusTotal. I copy the link and copy it into VirusTotal URL scanner, and that will scanner let me know that if the link is reported under any other security company or security website.
And VirusTotal is a website?
Yeah, it's free. VirusTotal, www.virustotal.com.
Right, so that's a resource people can use to verify whether websites.
Yeah, but if you're not so techie, people with these fraudulent websites, they don't even have much. They don't have the front information, right? Mm-hmm. So try and click on like the About or About Us or Contact Us and see if it goes to another page.
Right.
Normally it does not. It just has the page where they have to log in, to enter your account information, to capture it. Yeah. So that's another way you could identify as a fake account. Right. Click on the Contact Us or the About Us link and see if it redirects to another page. If it doesn't, fake.
Yeah. So one question I wanted to ask this one before, is when you mentioned hundreds of numbers get these text messages for these smishing, how do people actually get these numbers?
All right. Okay. Yes. So when we log in or register for an online service, we enter our number as a sort of a security feature, two-factor authentication or that barrier. But along the line, over the years or some period, these companies are victims of data breaches. And some of your data is on the dark web. Yeah. Sometimes the companies sell your data to a third party to promote the company, to promote or to do analysis on, right? Marketing analysis, etc. So, and some of you, as I said, is on the dark web, where persons could have access to it. Yeah.
I feel like it's a hazard of being online.
No, online is pretty safe. I've been online like many years, but it's just to take your time. As I was telling my mother, I said, "Mommy, the internet not running away from you, right? It's not being timed. take your time and read. So that's what the internet's all about. It's reading and understanding.
Yeah, because when the respondents did mention, because of her age, she has to be so careful.
Correct.
Right? So do you feel like sometimes these investment scammers may target people based on their age, similar to what they were doing other types of scams?
Yeah. They, in our previous part of the podcast, we spoke about doing that surveillance, right? These hackers or threat actors, we call them, they do their background reconnaissance, with surveillance on your accounts, so they will know who's on Facebook. But Facebook is our generation.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean, right? Yeah. And for the young generation, they use Instagram, but for the older generation, they utilize Facebook. That's what everybody is on, and everybody has shared certain private information about themselves is on there. So that's where they collect all their data, or harvest it, and launch an attack.
Yeah. So, before I was saying, having parents who listen is such an underrated blessing. So I know you mentioned in times before in other cases you've seen where people get involved in these kinds of things, and it's only when, as we say, watermelon flower, then they start to confess or talk to maybe a younger family member, son or daughter. So have you seen a lot of that when people may have gotten scammed, they lose their money in some sort of potential investment situation?
Yes. Yeah. The investment as well as the loan, the online loan scam.
The loan, right.
Yes. So after spending how much of an amount of money to receive a loan and they didn't receive it, they would say, that only makes sense after that I was being scammed.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that something prevalent? Reports that you get at first?
Yes, it has begun since last year. So that from the investment to the jobs and also the loans.
So what do you think? A lot of persons are unaware of these, that's why we're doing podcasts, unaware of these type of scams?
Yes.
Or the TTPS not doing enough to bring awareness to the public?
I think a lot of them are unaware of these scams, as well as everybody looking for fast money.
Correct.
Yes.
So they're seeing the opportunity to just pay X amount to get a loan, and they go in for that opportunity. So it's more of opportunities. Yeah.
There's an undercurrent, there's an undercurrent of quick, fast, avoiding the checks. Or, for example, like the bank will have things like know your customer, and they will have these checks and balances, not just to protect themselves, but also to protect you as the person. So we're seeing there's a avoidance of those types of checks and balances, and people end up getting themselves in trouble by being victims of these types of scams.
So like the smishing, where I spoke earlier about clicking on this link, you get the SMS and you click on the link. By the time you log in, your money is gone. Persons need to call a bank. If you know that you didn't conduct any transactions for the week, now for you to get suspicious activity or something, then something has to be wrong. So go into your bank, verify before you log in. But I think persons on the phone right through. So from the time you get a message or email on your phone, you're ready to respond on your phone without sitting down, reading it properly, taking your time, and then. But no, you're driving or you're walking, you click on the link, account activity suspicious, you're clicking one time and logging in because...
Or sometimes when these messages come, it's like late at night.
Yes.
Like, oh my
so
God,
you're not doom scrolling hour when you're just in your bed looking.
It's late at night. It's like, what's going on here? Like, I don't go in the bank anymore. And it's like, I can leave it right in front of my phone right now.
Yeah. All right, so final thoughts. Tell me, what would be your biggest piece of advice for persons who think they might be a victim of an investment scam, or who may be considering, are they looking at this Facebook page and trying to figure out, is this real, is this not, or they want to double their money in 2 minutes? What would your biggest piece of advice be to those people?
So, in the terms of investments, verify.
Right.
Before you make any decisions, verify whether or not the page is a good page, if it's a reputable business. Advice as it relates to the bank, again, verify. For this mission, verify. Do not click on any links until you verify. Verification is the most important
thing.
I support that full-heartedly. Just a reminder to the public, verification, it comes with some type of critical thinking. You know, Why would I get this text message at late at night? Why would I didn't order a package? I didn't order this particular item. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
So yes, so verify is important. You could go online to the Trinidad Tobago Security Exchange Commission and check for the legitimate sites that you can do investments on.
Yeah.
It's important. You don't go and say like my brother, my auntie telling me, right, to invest in this thing. They get through. I get through, you will get through too.
Yeah.
Right? So that's important. And one thing the TTPS is here, we take your report. Don't feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
We will take your report. I know you may have lost the money, but it's something that the TTPS will going to arrest and bring the offenders to the court and try as much as we can.
Yeah. And once it sounds too good to be true, in terms of I paying 20,000 to get a return of 20 times within a short space of time, something is wrong.
Something is off.
Something is off.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we are always on with legitimate information, never off. So if you want to see more of these episodes and review things that we've talked about before, go to our TTPS YouTube channel and subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you would like to listen on the go, you can check out this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Once again, Trinidad and Tobago, thanks so much for listening and for watching. And remember, don't just stay safe, stay socially safe.